All right, much better. I was crooked. Welcome back to Drinking It In. I am your host, Chris Casara. We are here to help you know more and drink better. And today, I won't be drinking any wine, but I will be reviewing 6 of them. Because, you know, in the end, the Antinori family is crafting a legacy. My wife and I did the Generous Pour event at the Capital Grille. So the Capital Grille every summer, July 4th to Labor Day, I think is what the dates are. They do a Generous Pour event that basically they bring in 6 wines, usually from a fairly big family, right, producer, if you will. So in this case, the Antinori family, which they have holdings all over the place. And today, it was $32 per person. You get to try as much or as little of the 6 wines as you would like. So if you want to drink 4 bottles of those wines, you can for $32 a person. It's a really cool opportunity, right? It gives you the chance to, taste. I mean, if you can taste 6 different wines in a meal, that's an awesome event. But what they do is they give you 6 different types, right? Usually a good variety of selections, and in this case, there were, they usually do 3 whites, 3 reds, or 2 whites and a rosé like they did this time. So we started with the white wines, which were all from Italy. Okay, Pinot Grigio, Santa Cristina Pinot Grigio, Tormaresca Chardonnay, and Tormaresca Califuria Rose. So, and they served it in that order. Oddly enough, the Pinot Grigio was the lightest of the 3, and it was also our least favorite of the 3. It just, it had some fruit, but it just wasn't that exciting. When we switched over to the Tormaresca Chardonnay, which is from the region in Italy called Puglia, we were blown away. I mean, it was bright, it was citrusy, it was apples and pears, and it was just delicious. Now, if you enjoy fruit wine as much as my wife, you'll appreciate this next clip, because she did a beautiful job of reading the material right for us.
Tormaresca, Puglia, Chardonnay. It's made from Chardonnay grown in Puglia. The wine embodies its southern Italian roots, clean, bracing, and kissed by the Adriatic Sea. It's illuminated by bright fruit and a hint of ocean salt. The Antinori family expanded into Puglia in 1998, enamored by the region's palpable terroir.
One thing that I always end up saying about Chardonnay from Italy is that it is always sneaky and surprising. Because when you think of Chardonnay, right, if somebody comes to you and says, "Oh, I would like a Chardonnay wine," what do you think of? Maybe France, maybe California, maybe not Italy, right? And what I've found, I've had not too much. Let's figure half a dozen Chardonnays from Italy. They've all been drop dead gorgeous, and this was no exception. No exception. So when we went up to the rosé, sort of as the rosé had some weight, but it was more of a little bit of a palate cleanser before you got into the reds, we weren't expecting much. Not that we weren't expecting much, I shouldn't say that. We weren't expecting to enjoy it anywhere near the Chardonnay. And we did have a sip of the rosé. It was good. Definitely number 2 of the group. But then we had some of the fried calamari and then had some rosé with it. And it was just like, holy crap, totally different wine. It narrowed that gap between the rosé and the Chardonnay. So in the end, this rosé was, loaded with, just like, it was very melony. It was bright. It was, and just had a lot of melon. I like it, right? Okay. Then, after we finished our appetizers and whatnot, they switch over to the reds. Line up the reds. We had 1 red from Tuscany, the Villa Antinori Toscana Rosso. It's a red blend. It was a red blend of Sangiovese, Merlot, Cabernet Sauvignon, and Syrah. Now, it's a super Tuscan. It was really light, actually, and surprisingly light. Very had a lot of dark fruit. Had notes of like mint and menthol, and you can tell that it was it was aged in oak, but it was really done with a lot of restraint. So good start. Not something that I was blown away by, but a really good start. The next wine was their Col Solare Cabernet Sauvignon from the Red Mountain District of Washington State. And now, we've had, not necessarily this vintage, but we had this wine before because a couple of years ago when Capital Grille did its Wine and Wagyu series, which basically was like a glass of wine and one of their burgers at the bar in the lounge area for like $25 or something like that. Again, another amazing deal. I haven't seen that in 2 years, so I'm hoping they bring that back. Sorry, let me get back in focus. So this guy, right, was really dark and spicy and had some coffee notes and black cherries and just gorgeous, right? So this ended up being, at this point, this is head and shoulders above the Super Tuscan. Then we went to the final wine, which is the Antica Mountain Select Cabernet Sauvignon from Napa Valley. And this one had a distinct, like, sweet profile. It was still dark and luscious, lots of cherries and blackberries and I think even a little, there's definitely some chocolate in there, but sweet, like, and I shouldn't say, I've emphasized sweet, I shouldn't say sweet, but because it wasn't like a dessert wine or anything, but it was like one of those big, luscious, just delicious Cabernet Sauvignons from Napa that you've known to love. There was nothing, there was no restraint there. It was bold, and it was for me very enjoyable. I would totally go buy it, but still second to the Col Solare. This one was my wife's favorite on the night, and she has a better palate than I am, and she can taste all kinds of nuances. So maybe she's right. We ended up pouring. She ended up having just a touch more of the Antica Cabernet Sauvignon with our dessert. I refilled on the Col Solare. I think in the end, right, if you are to see any of these wines out in the wild, which ones are worth a buy? And I would say clearly the Chardonnay, the Tormaresca Chardonnay from Puglia, 100%. If you see it, buy it. It shouldn't be that expensive. I'll do some research. I'll put a little notes on what you might find, price ranges where you might find these wines. I think the rosé was great. Very drinkable, worth a buy. So DrinkinItIn, thumbs up on that one too. And then on the red side, I would say the Col Solare and the Antica Mountain Select Cabernet Sauvignon are both buys. They might be a little, I don't expect the Col Solare to be pricey. I'm not sure, the Antica Mountain Select might be, but again, I'll give you the info. You guys can, take it, do with it what you will. But I appreciate you sitting through this video about crafting a legacy and the Capital Grille's Generous Pour event. I encourage you to go out and, Capital Grille is it's not a cheap date. But for this wine experience, it really, you'll find it very memorable, and I suggest you do it if you have the means. So thanks so much for joining, and I look forward to tasting another wine with you next time. Cheers.